Greetings, Mama, and welcome to the Rise Up Mama podcast. My name's Vanessa, and I help busy women like you, especially mums, to improve and maintain your health and wellness through positive mindset development, nutrition, and fitness coaching. If you're just tuning in, then welcome. I'm on a challenge that's been set by an online marketing coach, and the challenge is I have to produce an audio recording every day for 1 year. So thank you for tuning in. You're on a journey with me. Today's day 4. I have set out my intention for a magnificent March, and so far, so good. Today we're going to talk about women's health and why it's so important. And I'm going to base most of this audio on my own experience, which has actually happened today. But this is around the fact that, we're in March, it's spring, and I'm coming up to be celebrating my 45th birthday at the end of the month. And when you get to this age, I personally feel that health does become one of the top priorities. I obviously can't speak for everybody else, but thinking about my own life, since I got to I was about 33, and I really started to tune in on my health. So I can remember when I was in my 20s, and the age of 40 seemed like a lifetime away, but it actually hasn't been. I've had ups and downs along the way, challenges, but I've also had lots of celebration. And every day I give thanks for my life. I'm getting closer to the milestone of reaching 50, and I want to feel fabulous and look fabulous in my 50s. So these are very exciting times ahead. But, we have to be aware of the here and now. And this morning I found myself nagging my partner again about his smoking habit. Now, I used to smoke myself, so there's no judgment in anything that I'm about to say. I actually started smoking when I was 15. And during my experience as a smoker, I never really smoked a lot, but, I'd smoked for a long time. And actually, I'm remembering there was a time when I went on a girls' holiday to Spain, and I did smoke quite a lot of cigarettes during that experience. But apart from that, I never really was a heavy smoker. What happened was 5 years ago, my daughter gave birth to her oldest child. So my granddaughter Elizabeth arrived, and I decided that it was time for me to stop the habit. This is because I made a decision that I didn't want my granddaughter to associate me with smoking. And touch wood, 5 years on, I don't smoke, so everything's going great. However, as you and I know, there are dangers associated to smoking. Thankfully, by the time I conceived my youngest child in 2019, I had given up smoking. But I was doing some research tonight to prepare, and I'm actually shocked to discover the statistics for 2018 and 19 show that 10.6% of mothers were smoking at the time of their delivery. Now again, there's no judgment. Sadly, I was smoking when I carried my second child in 1997. I was 21 years old, and it was part of the culture, I feel, of my age group, but it's not something that I'm proud of. So if you're listening to this and you're still smoking, then, really try and find help to stop that habit. Because smoking does affect our heart, and this leads me into the next point that I'm going to share with you. Last Thursday, I was hosting one of my online Global Health and Wellbeing Cafe sessions, and I shared top tips on how you can care for your heart at any age. So, as I said, I'm coming up to my 45th birthday, and when you get in your 40s, heart health should be about keeping the muscle of your heart nice and strong. So you want to be doing cardiovascular exercises. But if you're in your 30s, then a great place to start thinking about your heart health is having statistics, having that information about your cholesterol levels and your blood pressure, for example. Now, when I was in my 30s, I think I kind of heard about cholesterol, but I didn't actually understand what it was. And when I reached 40, I received a letter to go for my well woman check, and I never actually went. And one of the checks that they would have done at that point was my cholesterol levels. So 4.5 years, nearly 5 years have passed, and I finally went for my cholesterol checkup today, and this is a blood test. So obviously the results aren't in at the moment as I'm speaking to you, but I've taken proactive action to actually know my figures. And the nurse said to me, if I don't hear anything, then actually it's good news. But if I want to know what my cholesterol levels are, I just need to phone. Now, if you're not aware of what high cholesterol is, then high cholesterol can increase the risk of heart disease. And this is literally where you're getting fatty deposits that are in the bloodstream. And what you don't want is for these fatty deposits to be too high, because like I said, you're increasing the risk of heart disease, stroke and peripheral vascular disease. Now that is a blood circulation disorder. And maybe on another post I'll go into more details of some of the signs and symptoms that you may find. I mean, really, with cholesterol, there are no symptoms as such. There are some signs that you can pick up on, like you may have tingling in your hands and feet, but essentially it's the narrowing of your arteries which can cause damage to your heart and your brain. So, cholesterol check has been done, and I'm actually, really, really pleased about that. At the beginning of the month, I do my body composition, and in the group that I run, so this is my VIP group, my VIP nutrition club, we actually have a health hack challenge. So I've posted my body composition stats in there, and the body composition is really looking at different aspects of your body. So this is your fat levels, it's your internal fat, your water level, your lean muscle, what else is picked up, how well you are actually functioning, how many calories you're burning, and just lots of different things. So today I had some good indicators. I do need to improve on reducing my internal fat, which means that I need to be doing more high intensity workouts, more tummy toning. I can't wait until the gym opens up again, because I need more strength exercises, and I need to be drinking more water. But essentially what I do every month is I do check those numbers, because when you're looking at your own numbers, it lets you know how, what areas you should really be improving on in your life. So this is something that you can be looking at every single month. But another check that I had done today was a smear test. And, I was invited to have a smear test, I think, at the end of last year. And I was all set for going. But as I'm recording this, it's 2021. So we were actually in the middle of the health pandemic. And I did put off going for the appointment. Now, luckily, the health service they take the smear test very, very seriously, and they have sent reminders. Now, when you're going for your smear test, then obviously you have to factor in your actual monthly cycle to make sure you're not bleeding. So I had to work out all of that. So as soon as my cycle ended in February, I booked in, and I've had a test today. Now, cervical cancer develops in a woman's cervix, so that's the entrance to the womb from the vagina, and it mainly affects sexually active women between the age of 30 and 45. Now, what I found out is 1 in 4 women do not attend their tests. So obviously, I've just said I was part of that statistic. I was invited for a test. I didn't go straight away. But ironically, 1 in 9 women say that they would take a test if they knew that having the test could prevent cancer. Now, if you're listening to this recording and you're based in England or in the United Kingdom, you may remember a lovely young woman, reality TV star by the name of Jade Goody. Now, Jade Goody, she shot up into our life around 2002 with a very famous series. Now, Jade ignored a letter that was explaining to her that abnormal cells had been found around the cervix. And by the time she she did actually go for treatment, and she had the cervical cancer, but it had spread to other parts of her body. So the cancer had spread, and unfortunately, Jade died at the very tender age of 27 years, and she left behind 2 sons, Bobby and Freddie. Now, the smear test can detect early signs of cervical cancer before the abnormal cells become cancerous. So again, the research that I've done today has shown that it's estimated that if everyone attended their screenings, then 83% of cases, so this is cervical cancer cases, could be prevented. So, I'm just sharing my experience today. You can hear that in my own journey, I've had times when I know that I should have been more proactive. I should have stopped doing something. I should have gone for a test. I want you to learn lessons from me. If you have the invitation for your cervical smear test, obviously, as I said, you have to work this around your cycle and around your bleeding, but go for your test. If you are in your 30s now and you've never had a cholesterol test, so your cholesterol levels checked, then go and have that blood test. What I would like to say is, personally, as a lifestyle coach focusing on nutrition and fitness, I offer a free health MOT. So this isn't, anything as intimate, let's say, as the cervical smear test, and I won't be taking any blood from you. But what I do have is a fantastic way of helping you to know how your body is changing on the inside, because it's all about the cells of your body and how your body is responding to nutrition, to positive changes in your diet, to exercise that you may be doing. And this really does help to focus the mind. So what you'll find is a link in the description to this podcast to invite you. It's a free health MOT. I can do this virtually. If you live in the same town as me, we can do it in a safe way, where you're actually coming to see me and you are stepping onto my meter scales and we're having those measurements done. If you're not able to come and see me, we do have ways around it where we can still get the information, which starts with an online wellness evaluation form. So that's available to you. So like I said,